day, pretty good day. Um, yeah, I've been able to manage my schedule kind of better than usual on a work day
Okay.
because I had work at 5 p.m. and
hmm
usually the hours before work I tend to be not very productive and not really well managed like the 2 or 3 hours before, having in mind that I'm gonna have to get ready. I have to eat enough before going to work because between 5 p.m. and midnight I cannot eat.
Yeah.
So I gotta get my meal in and all that things. And
Yep.
yesterday was pretty well managed time.
Awesome. What's it called? Like in your journal, your nightly journal, are you kind of scheduling out your day and especially like those hours before work?
Yeah, I was, but what I mean is I used to not really respect my schedule that was planned the
Mm,
night before.
got it. You see how that kind of could weigh on your confidence?
Yeah. And what I did to respect it more is I scheduled work until 4 p.m. and from 4 to 5 I can focus on getting ready,
Yeah.
eating, and being able to leave at 4:45 p.m. When I used to schedule work until 4:30, and that's why maybe I was like hesitant on, yeah, am I going to be able to put the time to do the work or not? Like now I just say I work until 4 p.m. and after that I get ready.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you first was like how long does it take you to normally get ready? Um,
Well, 45 minutes is good for me to make myself a meal, eventually take a shower, get ready, and leave, and like kind of clean a little bit more apartment, uh, do a little bit of dishes and stuff like that.
okay, cool.
Because I tend to not do these kind of things uh, before that during my day.
Okay.
So taking the time to just set everything back in order, so that when I come back from work at midnight, I just have to take a shower, uh, write my AARs, nightly planner, meditate, and go to sleep.
Keep in mind that like and it's harder to do this in the beginning as always, but it gets a little bit easier. But like just keeping in mind that everything you do is for your future self, even if that's yourself later today, right?
Yeah,
Obviously, mostly it's like later 6 to 9 months down the road. All the actions that you do today is what leads you to that point, whether it's good or bad. So if you're not making the right decisions today, you're going to feel that in about 6 months or just honestly 60 days to 90 days. All the actions you make is 60 to 90 days, I would say. But yeah, it's again, it's difficult, but you'll be able to the more you create the habit of actually just like doing it. Like let's say you come home from work and you just don't feel like doing your nightly journal. The more you just tell yourself, I got to do it and actually take the action, the more confidence you're going to gain and the more you're going to create that habit. But if you create the habit of just not doing it when you don't feel like doing it, it's going to keep compounding,
yeah.
you know. What book did you decide on?
So I have Market Wizards as a reading book, and
Okay.
I've been listening to 10x.
Okay. How do you like 10x?
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I like Grant's voice.
Right? I told you
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
Tim Grover,
And
like I said.
I have the I chose the two next books with Deep Work and Win Friends and Influence People.
Okay.
These are the two next book that I'm gonna read after I finish those two.
Okay. Awesome. Good stuff, man. Yeah, the How to Win Friends and Influence People is great. Um, look up like Napoleon Hill.
Yeah,
A lot of his books are all about like downloading your subconscious mind, where it's basically your actions because of the thoughts in the back of your mind that you're not even thinking about, and that's what creates like easier habits for you down the road. But that's like Think and Grow Rich for you to like believe that you're actually that
yeah.
person.
I started that one. I think I read like 1/3 of Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, that one's essential.
Yeah.
I think I've read that like 3 times.
Oh yeah.
I think, yeah, something like that. Three,
Yeah, I
2 or 3
remember it
times.
was really interesting, and then I stopped reading at some moments and never got back to it.
Yeah, that's actually what happened to me the first time I read it. It's an older book, so like if you're either listening to it or reading it, it's like older English, and I don't know. It does grab your attention, but I don't know what happened with me the first time I read it, but I was in that mindset of like this is what I want to do. It was like when I first started this journey, but I don't know. I wanted a little bit more energy. I forget what it was. Maybe I just didn't get around to it. But what's up, Isaac? Morning, buddy. Actually, it's not morning for any of you guys.
Nah.
Morning, guys.
Ah, there he is. What's up, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Did you have a good night last night or day?
Yes, I had a great day, but I overtraded, but I
Okay.
managed my risk. Yeah.
Okay. Were you reading over your trading plan?
Yes. I find out that it was an emotional trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
so
it was, but I journaled it. I found out that it was FOMO. I don't know. I was just not in the good state of mind.
okay. So two things that you could write, like the goal of my trading at the top of your trading plan.
Yeah.
One thing to the right of that, like you have all your goals like bulleted. Now to the right of that, just write a couple reminders to yourself. And one of them can be, is this an emotional trade or a logical trade? Or you can actually write that down by the entry. You know how we have bullets under entry down below?
Okay. Yeah.
So write emotional or logical. And that'll just give you that quick reminder. And in the beginning, sometimes you don't listen to it. But eventually, if you create the habit, like I was just talking about, it'll become automatic where you're not taking emotional trades anymore. You're just like, you know what? I'm going to lie back test this. I'm going to watch it happen. If I miss it, I miss it, but I'll journal it. And I'm off to see the next day as far as trading, which leads me into the next bullet that you can write next to goal of my trading.
Okay.
Right. I have 1 to 2 opportunities to take a trade today.
Okay.
Nothing more. I can't take anything more than 2 trades.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where everything starts to change for a lot of people when they start cutting down their trades from, maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 on average down to 1 or 2. When you start doing that, you start to see overall more profitability throughout the week.
Yeah. Okay.
And then one more reminder you can write there is right under that 1 to 2 opportunities, right in a bullet. I'm in this for the long run. I don't have to make money today. Right? Like I don't have to take a trade today. I'm in this for the long run. I'm in this for a successful week. I'm in this for a successful month and a successful year.
Okay.
All right. Now it's easy to write that there. Now, can you stick to it? And that's got to be the challenge that you make to yourself. See how much you can stick to that.
Okay.
Now, the more you don't stick to it, the more you're going to lose confidence. That's the trick side of it, where you have it written down there, and if you don't stick to it, it's going to hurt you. But you want that pressure. You want to embrace that pressure. It's there to help you. All right.
Yeah. I send a chat on Slack group.
Awesome. Hey, you can when you do that, you can send that into the chat on Zoom while we're on here. But like if we're not on Zoom, feel free to send it obviously on Slack. The chat button over here.
I don't know how to send it.
So go to right here. You see where it says the take a snapshot, like you've been doing?
Oh,
snapshot.
Yeah.
Copy link to the chart image.
Okay.
Right there, it's the third one, and then you can put that right in the chat. Try that right now if you can.
Okay.
But like I said, if we're not on Zoom together, obviously put that in Slack.
Okay.
But Again, you've been doing a great job with sending your charts and also marking them up over here. This looks like a nice setup here. What is this? Oh, AUD USD. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, look at this. All this detail. I love it, man. Got your data release over here, consolidation. So this is, what is this? JPY PPI. Okay. Previous actual dropped a little bit from the previous, but it's a little bit above forecast. Okay. We held support. We pushed all the way up. Yeah, good job. I see that in the chat. New higher high with multiple rejections. We got that low, higher low. Low and support was formed as we pushed back. So is there any way you could have caught this move right here, or were you not awake at the time?
No, I wasn't awake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you take this on the impulse, break and closed above the key level?
That was my plan before I took this trade.
Okay.
Yeah. But on the chat I sent on the chat group is the actual trade I took right now.
What, right here?
No, on Zoom I sent the chat now.
Okay.
On chat room.
Okay. What's the red flag?
Yeah, I closed 50%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you took this based on the 1 hour?
Yeah, I took it based on 1 hour.
So let's see something real quick. Oh no, it's AUD JPY. Not AUD USD.
No, AUSD. Yeah.
Okay, daily looks good. We already created a bottom wick, strong bullish candle close, clean move to the left over here, possibly up into this previous support over here. We'll see what that looks like on the lower time frames. Also meeting up with the 200 EMA right here on the daily. Gonna adjust that. I'm just doing a quick breakdown, not like a formal, this is your higher low that was first formed. Yeah, when you get a strong bullish candle like this, expect some kind of a pullback.
Okay.
So this was your, resistance right here.
It was beneath that
30-minute. Yeah, this is where a lot of people could get trapped.
Yeah.
Rejections. And then these up here, this is kind of the range, but I see what you were doing. Like the 1 hour looks good. Just for future reference, you took this on an impulse following a bearish candle, right? You got the bottom wick formed past the high of a bearish candle to continue up. But what you want is candles closing in your direction. And then you take the impulse entry where you get the bottom wick formed on the next candle. Let's say it closed like that, or a little bit stronger, hopefully. And then past the high of that bullish candle, that's your entry to continue up.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I thought, let me show you.
Sure.
I thought this was a level right here.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. And if we can look on 30 minutes time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw it fit nicely right here.
100%. I don't think you I don't want to say you didn't draw the wrong level, because you kind of did, but at the same time I understand why you did, right? And that's I think that's important for anybody teaching something, is to be able to put themselves in the shoes of who's doing it and understand why they were doing it. Obviously this was your main resistance. These are candle body closes. And if you break down the anatomy of the candle, like I always tell you, this candle only ended up pushing up to here. This candle never really got past to close the doji. This candle passed the high, but closed below that level. This candle, doji, right? This candle created the top wick, passed the low right over here, and again, rejected this level right here, right? So like, that's correct. But if you go down to the lower time frames, you can easily get faked out over here. That's why if you're taking this on the 1 hour, what you want is a close above here, price respecting this level right here and closing bullish right in this area. Or, you know, even getting the deeper pullback like we got right here, right? And say the candle closed like that, but then we got this candle actually did close like that back outside of the area, right? But then you want to take that after that candle closes, or right after it passes the high right here, right? And that would be the safer entry, because again, like let's say you did take it after this candle body close right here. I think it definitely could continue up, but you have rejection to this area, right? This area right here, and then this candle ended up pushing up, closing bullish, but closed below that level. So I would possibly wait for volume to kick in and price to pass the high of that candle and continue up.
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense?
see. Yeah, it makes sense. I just closed the full thing. I can see that I was faked out.
Yep. And do you see how like drawing the correct levels and understanding, you know, candle body closes and all that stuff can save you from a lot of losses?
Yeah.
I think we were able to find that 2 days in a row, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So and again, it's fine because like, and I know you keep saying like you wish you came in here a lot earlier, which, you know, I agree as well. Like I think a lot of people could say that, but just look at all the corrections we're already making, and as long as you take any constructive criticism the right way, you're going to be getting better and better and better. The confidence is going to grow. It takes time for everything, but it's going to be happening.
And I'm willing to wait.
You're waiting what?
I'm willing to take time.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You've taken that. How long you been trading again?
It's a year.
Okay. Look, you're only a year in, and you put the work in. I can see the effort that you put into your charts, right? Now it just comes into setting daily tasks. You know, we have that second Zoom. The first Zoom was more about trading, but second one is going to be more about placing the right routines in place for your daily habits and all the things that you have to do, the daily must lists, being able to complete that every single day. You're going to consistently be able to back test every single day and study previous trades, stuff like that we'll put on there. And every single day, as long as you're sticking to that and not killing yourself every single day, you don't have to do everything in one day. You just got to be able to make the right decisions every day and do the same exact things every single day. That's where habits come into. Now we're going to be live with Sharma at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I just like hopping on here with you guys first and going through some of this stuff. But I wanted to show you guys a video of what I'm talking about. Did any of you guys watch this last night or yesterday?
I wanted to this morning and didn't get a chance.
Okay, I'll play it right now for you. And it's, again, like what I was writing here is like, I haven't seen this video until yesterday. And they're literally talking about everything I talked to you guys about.
Man, I just got back on GJ's charts. Did you get the sales at 6 a.m.?
So yeah, I was actually just looking at that. I'm looking for the close below 161,765. That support right now we're rejecting it. So I'm just patiently waiting for the close below. We're gonna have plenty of volume later, and I could see price. Yeah, these were these sells if anybody got them. Strong close, bottom wick formed, flip bearish. You can enter another one right there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but looking at this level right here,
When it
need that close below.
Bearish close.
Yeah, 100%, especially before news comes out. But can we get something if we get really good PPI numbers coming out? Can we get something like this right here to finish and continue our move down?
161,400 at least.
Yes, sir. Exact level I was just gonna say. Can we continue this move down? Also, look at I think it's the monthly. I mean, monthly right now is flipping bearish, but the weekly over here Take a look at this. We got the rejections, the lower highs formed. Oh, before I keep getting into this, I just want to congratulate Praveen, man. You've been killing it. Great job, dude. Where is it? He announced in the New York session how he made his entire salary. What is this? In 1 week? Or he made 70% of his salary. Amazing, dude. Good for you, brother. Well deserved. You've been putting in the work.
Thanks, bro.
100%. You deserve it, man. But again, you can't get overconfident. You can't get complacent, just like I was talking to you about yesterday, right? Here, where is it? No, don't let that overconfidence creep in. All right. I don't mean to be, you know, any kind of negative voice with that, but like you got to hear it because it happens, and I just don't want to see it happen to you. It's very easy for that voice to creep in, but again, looking at GJ over here, rejecting these levels, right? 166, that level over here, tapped in for the last time. Strong bearish close below these candle body supports, and then what do you get right here? You get a low created, weak bullish candle close, top wick respected the high of the previous, flip bearish, and continuing down. So can we continue back down to 160 over here? So that gives you confidence that we're continuing down. Got a nice strong daily candle yesterday with a wick to fill. Who's to say we're not going to come back down to this support right here? Around 161, right? We're heading right for it. Things could happen to not let that happen, but as long as you're keeping that in mind, we should be heading down. Again, nice resistance right there. Should be heading right back down to 161, 400, which is yeah, this level right here. It's our nearest support, right? But we need that close below that support right now. We got to see how this 1 hour is going to close. Let's see how the 30 minutes is going to close. It's going to close above this level here, but it is a strong, or not a strong, but it is a bearish candle with a bottom wick to fill. So, and we have that bearish momentum over here. So can we continue down? Let's see the 15-minute. We'll see what we do over here. I think you could have safe sells once we as we're flipping bearish here, but this was kind of a level right here that we ended up closing bearish. This candle passed it right away and got a bullish close. So you need some kind of a bearish close before taking this. I wouldn't take this as an impulse entry, and I would honestly wait for our close below that 750 level right here. We'll see how this plays out, but you guys are going to have plenty of volume after news comes out, right? And just to prove to you guys, and so that you guys don't get any kind of FOMO, this was the CPI news that came out yesterday, right? And let's say you missed this entire move, right? Looking at the 15-minute ended up closing bearish, creating this bottom wick. We retrace up, and then all of a sudden you didn't get a move. You got a perfect move actually at 9:15 right here, about 90 pips, right? So there's going to be that move today. So just stay patient. You don't need to trap yourself in here and then regret it, and then all of a sudden catch a nice move for GJ and not make as much as you could have that day or today. All right. So key is patience. Are you going to miss trades? Sure, every now and then, but eventually you're going to miss less and less and less trades. You could see if this 5-minute candle closes bearish. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. Like I said, we're going to be live with Shrum in about 30 minutes. So there's going to be plenty of moves that I'm sure we could take. I just wanted to show you guys this video real quick.
And if it's something that I did, then I want to get in front of it and apologize or address it internally so it doesn't happen again. you mentioned something about success, and everybody has there are multiple definitions of success. If you ask 100 people, you might get 100 answers. But you touched on something I think is important to the listeners. And to me, I have a lot of different definitions. Success isn't being good in one bucket. It's not about like, I made all this money, and I know, it's easy for you to say, no, success is not about being good in one bucket. It's about being good in all the buckets. Yeah. All the buckets. It's about being a good dad. It's about being, good to your employees. It's about giving back in the charity bucket. It's about doing the right thing when you do it. It's about standing up for something that you see is wrong. That's success. When I see people that are mega wealthy, they're just fucking wealthy. Yes. No, they're just wealthy. Yeah. That's not what it looks like. And you don't have to be wealthy. If you're struggling in one area, you can still be good in all the other areas. You can't spiral down because success, the way you look at it, isn't happening. Well, then go be successful in the other buckets and fill up your plate.
And then what it does too, by the way, like I could feel you coming at me with that because you feel so strong about it. Your physiology changed too. But what also happens is when you talk a lot about this, but when you get wins in other areas, you get life momentum. And people just, I did a training on this the other day, but like to me, I look at you, I go, okay, look. The thing you said about associating with these people and their habits, I didn't have a jet card company, but I joined the club where I could meet these kinds of guys. What is your schedule? What's your workout routine? How do you eat? What do you think about? How do you talk?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Habits, you get me all fired up. Everything comes around your day. Yeah. We're talking about all these successes. They took years.
Yes.
Years.
Yes.
I remember walking into the president of Coca-Cola about the Zico thing. He's like, it takes 8 years to build a brand in this country. Of course, there's get rich quick things, and now it's a little faster, but it takes time. But what the foundation of that is your daily habits. It's creating winning habits, winning routines, and a winning mindset. That's the formula. It is. There's no way around it. It doesn't happen without that.
One of the unique things for me, because I completely agree, but one of the things unique about you and I is we created this content for a while. Then when we looked at each other's,
Haven't I been saying all that? And Isaac, this is something that we're going to be getting into, on our next Zoom, as well as Praveen when we get on our first. Let's see. Where is it? Praveen, what day did you say was better? I know you had to reschedule. Shankar. Oh, on Friday. Okay. Okay, so let me just keep this in my calendar. Is that definitely gonna be good for you, buddy?
Hey, bro.
Yo.
Can we go back to AU?
Yes. Nice. Okay.
Now that the prices are going in my direction, so if it was you, how will you deal with this thing? Like, you see that the candles are moving like the same direction as you predicted?
Yep. So you're only taking trades based on the 30-minute, right? And the 1 hour?
Yeah, only 1 hour. I want to master 1 hour first because I saw my setup plays many times on 1 hour.
Okay. So this is your most recent resistance right here, right? So now you did get, what you got here was the support. Again, breaking down the anatomy of these candles. This was our resistance, right? Price ends up rejecting it, but we get a strong bullish candle close outside of that area. Then after that, we got like pretty much an engulfing bearish candle, but again, rejected that area and held support again. Then we get a support higher low, right? Compared to the other one. This is our higher low formed with this candle. Then we get another higher low formed with this bullish candle. An engulfing candle followed, right? The bearish candle, but again, respected this level. Then all of a sudden you get the bullish candle close here on the 30-minute. You get another bullish candle close here on the 30-minute with a wick to fill. So after that candle, possibly you can anticipate a move up. But a better one would be waiting for this whole level to clear.
Okay.
Right? Because again, we've rejected that area multiple times right here as well. Keep rejecting that level. So maybe we get a close above that level, and then the next one creates its bottom wick and continues out. Right? This may have been a trade I would have taken after this candle closed, anticipating some of the volume at like 7:30, right? But yeah, it's pushing up here. Let's see. Yeah, 15-minute holding that support as well. Price pushing up over here. But again, you get that 15-minute resistance here. Now you're going to get the close above. This is what I wanted to check. You have about 28, 30 pips in there. So one other thing that you could do is you took this based on the 1 hour,
Yeah.
right? And price flipped. Before you took this, did it have a bottom wick?
Yes, it did.
It created a
Let-
bottom
let-
wick past the high
Yeah.
and then retraced back here. And now it's
Yeah.
pushing back up.
Yes.
Okay. So this is where you need to ask yourself, how often does that happen? Right. And that's going to take back testing on the simulator. It's going to take back testing on here. But unfortunately on TradingView, it's not as good because you can't really watch the candles move. You only see like 2 different ticks. Right.
Yeah.
So
bro, what I wanted to know is that, like, how do you deal with this, like, emotionally, and I don't know what to, psychological, how do you deal with this thing? Seeing that you have cut your loss, I mean, you have closed the full thing and the candles move straight like the way you predicted. Like, how do you deal with that psychologically?
I take it for what it is. Like everything is a lesson, right? So like that's a lesson for you to understand, like, okay, maybe I didn't have to close the full thing, right? Let me go back and see where I ended up closing, because you got this bullish candle close, right? Price on the 30-minute pushed up this way. And then what did it do? It just retraced back to this level, or did it flip bearish?
It did flip bearish.
Okay.
So I closed the first 50%.
Okay, where was your stop loss? Right here or right here?
My stop loss was around is it? Oh, these numbers are too big. Around this level. Let me show you with this.
Sure.
My stop loss was around here.
What's up, Lewis? Ah, okay. That might be a little too tight.
Morning, bro.
Morning, man. So what you did was you put it underneath this 1 hour candle as it passed the high of that candle. So this 1 hour candle hasn't closed yet, right? You're taking it based on the 1 hour. So what I was saying was you want to wait for like a 30-minute at least, but if you're trading on the 1 hour, you wait for this 1 hour candle to close to see how it closes, not take the bottom wick and pass the high of a bearish candle, you know, continuing up. Now you can do that, which is working out now, but you need to put your stop loss below the previous or below like this area. You got to give it some room to breathe so that you can breathe. Remember, I think yesterday, were you the one asking me if like I would move my stop loss up? And I was saying,
Yeah,
either wait, give it some room to breathe.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, you're not only giving the trade room to breathe, but you're giving yourself room to breathe, psychology wise. Like you're not like so antsy. You're not trying to micromanage your trade over here. Because again, like if you break down the anatomy of the candles, you had a support right here that you could have put it under where you would have been safe, right? And this candle never flipped bearish and broke the low of these candles, right? Or you could have put it below the support if you wanted to, right? If you put it below that support, let's see, and let's say this was the trade that you took. you'd have almost a 2-to-1. I get why you put it there because it's the 1 hour, but the 1 hour's got to close first because you're going to have a lot of those pullbacks, especially on gold and GJ. I don't really know how AUD USD moves, but you could at least put it maybe right there or right there, just not under the entry candle. I would put it under like the previous, right around here. And if that was the case, you would have been safe here. You would have closed 50% and just let the rest run. Right?
Okay.
Especially after getting this bullish candle close, right? After this bearish one, like it looked like we're creating the higher lows, got the bullish candle close, then you got this candle close, but then you get the bullish candle, right? This candle created a bottom wick past the high of that candle and was continuing up, and I guess it flipped bearish. I see why you were doing it, especially because it was such a tight stop loss. But at the end of the day, if you already cut 50, most of the time I would just let the rest run. But you may have an opportunity to take a trade over here. And
I'm only left with one opportunity, taking 1 to 2 trade a day.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm only left with one opportunity to take a trade.
Okay.
And I want to take UJ straight.
Okay, send your chart. We're gonna go back to GJ real quick. GJ is moving down over here. So let's see. So you got that bearish candle closed with a wick to fill. Top wick formed, like I said, and now it's filling that wick. But can we get this 15-minute candle close below this area? We're finally going to get the close over here, right? In about a minute, right? So could we get a top wick formed on the next candle and price continues down? Let's see what kind of formation we get below this support, because we could have always rejected this area again and waited for later, and you could have gotten stopped out. Quinn, did you take this? Man. Yeah, the 1 hour over here, this would have been, if you guys were up this early, after this bearish candle close, especially after this candle created a top wick, flip bearish, that would have been nice. All right, 15-minute closed. See, 15-minute close and no bottom wick. This one passed the low right away. So maybe you get the pullback up into this area, which would be great to take this down. And if not, you live back test it, you journal this and how you could have bought it, and you play it next time. I just didn't like this rejection here as the 30-minute was, push the low. This is our setup right here. Push the low of that candle and then ended up rejecting above that level and closing like a weak candle right here. Damn, BJ's just pushing down today. Text from, are you guys here? Man, we gotta get Jamie back.
What did you say, bro?
Oh, there you go. I was saying, did anyone take this?
No, I'm live back testing it when I join early.
Okay, beautiful. Me too. Let's see.
I don't like the traffic on the left. It's
What's
not
up?
really clean. The traffic on the left is not really clean.
Coming down to, yeah, it's a little choppy.
Yeah.
I think our next support is anywhere in this level right here. Right? You do have a support right here that you got to worry about, but I'm looking at strong bearish candle on the 15-minute, closing no bottom wick. This candle passed the low right away. So what are the chances? And this is the 15-minute, so it's weak. So I could see us getting some kind of a pullback into this area, which would be great, because then we could take this thing down later on. If we don't get it, it is what it is. That's fine. See that?
Yeah.
it. So at some point, you should be able to get some kind of a good formation up here. And this is good because now you have a low that was created. Now you have a wick to fill if you get a resistance formed at this area. Let's see the 30-minute.
That 30-minute candle looks pretty.
What's up?
The 30-minute candle looks pretty good on GJ.
Oh, yeah.
Just on the 15, it just like you said, it didn't have a wick, so
Yeah. Yeah, this is something I've seen once or twice before with this candle. Closing like a really weak, like it really rejected this support over here. And it came down exactly to this wick right here to the left. You see that?
Mhm.
And then rejected it, right? And then closed above that level. So I didn't want to get trapped in here where the next candle creates a bottom wick and then passes the high over here. And then we get another lower high form before continuing down. I didn't want to do that before PPI. So what I was saying, especially because you got that 15-minute candle bullish close over here, I was saying maybe we get a 15-minute close somewhere around here, and then possibly we could take something with our stop loss up here, but this thing just ended up pushing. So we'll see what ends up happening over here. Again, you guys got major news coming out in about 40 minutes. So you're going to have a move later on, just like we got over here. Trade the reaction to the news. This is 90 pips right here. If you guys go into my journal, I think I sent it into the group Trello as well. This is how I would have caught this one. So you get the daily, rejecting that 163.500 level, right? 4 hour, rejecting that level again, breaking that minor bullish trend over there. This is the CPI numbers coming out, rejecting this number one more time, and then it just, tanked. 1 hour top wick formed on this candle right here, right? After a very strong candle with a wick to fill and the volume pumping in the market. This is it zoomed out. So this is that support. This is the 30-minute where this candle ended up closing bearish and creating that 1 hour top wick. But it did close bearish. Next one created a very small top wick, passed the low, and continued down.
That was yesterday.
What's up?
That was one yesterday.
Yes. So now what you have here is a low created with this wick, very strong close, little reaction to this support over here, and then you get this top wick rejection and the candle closed bearish. So the first entry could have been after this candle created a top wick and passed the low of that candle, anticipating the volume to break us through this area. And again, you're paying more attention to the higher time frames, like the 1 hour and 30-minute, and how this candle ended up creating its wick on the 1 hour, and how that 1 hour is flipping bearish to now come down and fill that area. So you're anticipating the volume to push us through this area, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next one, here's another entry that you could have placed the so the first stop loss was up here, right, for this candle. And then once this candle created a very small top wick, past the low of this wick and this wick, you could have entered a second impulse entry and put your stop loss above the previous and move the stop loss from up here down here, right? So that would have been your second entry right there. And what I would have done was close 80% of both positions at 30 pips, right? Stop loss at break even for the first one. Leave the other one, give it some room to breathe for a second. And then all of a sudden your TP was hit. And this is what it looked like after. And then it eventually would have stopped me at a break even shortly after that, as you guys can see right here. Make sense?
Yeah. Did you backtest it, or that was an actual trade you took?
No, that I was live backtesting that because I took gold.
Okay.
Let's see. Just need to send this to Sharma. Our group's gonna be hopping in. Here goes the waiting room. All right. Cool. All right, so we're getting that pullback over here. We'll see how the hour closes. The hour looks nice. It's going to close below that support over here. We should very well continue down at 161,400 here. Isaac put a chart in here. Great job, man. What is this? USDJPY. Yeah, this could definitely come down, especially fundamentally wise. Got this support. Rejection of that resistance. Wait for that close below that area. Question is, how many pips of Isaac, how many pips do you have from here to here? You can't really see that.
GG is melting.
From here to here. Yeah, it's sometimes you miss some.
32 pips.
32 pips.
Yeah.
Nice. So now you journal that one. Again, I explained why I didn't take that. Hopefully that made sense to you guys. But how many pips right here? 30, oh, you said 32 pips for this. Okay, that's enough. Right? We're getting some strength in the Japanese yen, I'm guessing. We're just fear in Great Britain.
The news that are coming out it measures the consumer inflation pretty much. Is that what it means? PPI.
PPI is basically the producer's price index, or not basically, but it is. Let's get rid of this. Here, I'll break it down for you. Yeah, sure. So over here, PPI is basically like a consumer price index. This is what we pay for products. This is our inflation. This is the business owner's inflation. So say you're a belt seller, you sell leather belts. How much does it cost you to buy these belts? How much inflation do you have to buy these belts to sell to other people? So naturally, if this price is going up, this price eventually will be going up. So if this was, we got like lower than expected CPI over here, right?
Meaning that inflation is getting better.
Maybe. I think we need to see more data before we come to that conclusion. But if this gets better as well, right? If this is way below the previous and also at 0% or 0.1%, maybe this will maybe inflation is starting to cool. Make sense?
Yep.
And then unemployment claims is coming out as always. So let's see. I'm waiting on something to happen here. So this, in a way, is good. It's not like we're already going to tap into 161,400. Maybe we do get that pullback like we were talking about, right? Which is what you want because now you have a low created, right? A lot of people get FOMO over these moves, which I can understand why. But at the same time, when you don't hit your target, and then price creates a low, and then you come back up to the previous support to hold a resistance, now you have a low to fill. And the lower that is, the better it is, as long as it's not touching your target. Make sense? So we're just waiting for them to come in.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna step away from Mexico.
Sorry, what was that? Is that pullback? Maybe. Hours nice and strong. There's no reason we shouldn't come back down to 161, 400. Lewis, did you say something?
Yeah, so I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay.
So that.
I'm just gonna clear this out for everybody. It's coming in. We'll be doing our breakdown.
Hey, bro.
Yo,
Yeah. Can you please post today's session on Slack? I just want to go over it again.
can I do what? Oh, post
Can
it.
you post, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
post it
the
on
session.
YouTube for you.
Or on YouTube.
Yes, sir. I'll send you the link.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely. All right, so GJ, the 30-minute is pushing bearish right away. Gold is really heading up.
Yo,
Yo, how are
How's
you?
doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing
Good
great.
morning, everybody.
Ready for PPI?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Think. Yeah, GJ's just pushing right now.
All right, we are live on YouTube.
KB in here. My man. How was your day yesterday, Sean?
It was pretty good. I was basically done after we got off. I just managed the trade a little bit, and then I went to like TP, and I was done for the day.
You took a sell though, right?
I took a buy first,
Yeah.
and then I took the sell that I was talking about, coming right back down to like 1794.
Okay.
And then I was done.
Beautiful. Good stuff. Good stuff. Look what we got. We got Miles in here.
What's going on?
Not too much, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Good. You sure you're doing all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's been a stressful, just a lot of shit going on, but I am okay. I'm okay.
We'll catch up tonight, right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, good stuff. All right, so It's 8:02. We'll get into the breakdowns real quick so that you guys have a good idea of what to expect. Yeah, I was just breaking it down with our group just now, so we'll do it again. Looking at GJ over here on the weekly, again, we're making these lower highs, right? Strong bearish candles, lower highs, lower lows, pushing all the way down. What's interesting is you have like this area right here where you had previous candles rejecting it multiple times and closing above, right? Then we get the close below. We get this low formed. Price comes up, respects the high of the previous wick over here, right? And then flips bearish. So are we continuing down, back down to 160 level and filling some of these wicks over here to the left? All right, so I'll start marking off levels on the daily here. As you guys know, we've been creating these lower highs and also rejecting 166 over here multiple times. Strong resistance, another one, and then another strong push for the third time in this key area of the downtrend. Price continuing all the way down over here. Then all of a sudden we get this pullback from this level. Remember, we held support in this area. Bearish candle closed there. This candle rejected that area, and then we kept closing above with these candles. Then we got this strong bullish candle, and candles started getting weaker as we were coming up. And then all of a sudden yesterday we get this resistance formed, right? With a very strong daily bearish candle with a wick to fill as well. So now this current daily candle has a top wick, flip bearish, passing the low of the previous. There's nothing that's really stopping us from coming all the way back down to that 161 level. So looking at the 4 hour, I'm just going to mark off that area real quick. 161. There you go. You got all those wicks in that area as well. And now what you have here is this resistance holding strong. And we got this strong bearish candle close. This candle closed below support over here, right? And then we get some kind of a resistance formed around 162,500, right? Strong resistance. This candle ends up closing bearish with a wick to fill, but rejects that area, right? Kind of like holds support in here. This candle had no bottom wick or no top wick on the 4 hour and just shot down, right? Just continuing down. So, and morning, Alejo. So looking at the 1 hour now, what we just had was a support formed, right? Kind of got a close below with this candle, top wick formed, pass the low of that candle and continue down. But we had some kind of a support right here that we got to take a look at. This is the reason I didn't hop in this. But I'm saying we should have at least come down to 161,400. We'll see if that's what we get. If you look at the 30-minute now, you got the previous support right here. You could drag that to the left as well. Right over here. Actually, make that a little bit bigger. So right now, you could have drawn it like that. What we had before was this support right here, right? This was our low. You had a nice move from up here during pre-New York and pretty much London over here. If you had a resistance, you see the resistance forming, you're retesting this level right here and continuing down, right? You could have kind of mirrored this move all the way back down to the support and obviously continued holding a runner, right? But what we ended up getting here was we were looking at the 30-minute and the 15-minute and how mainly the 30-minute. So right here was a support, right? You ended up getting a bullish candle close in this area. Then this candle created a top wick, pushed all the way back down to 700 level, right? And then rejected, closing a weak bearish candle. I've seen this plenty of times, right? Or not plenty of times, but a few times where this candle closes like that and rejects the level, but this candle ends up filling that wick anyway and continuing down. But with PPI coming out, I kind of just wanted to like stay out of it and wait for that close below this level over here. Because the 15-minute ended up closing bullish right here. If we got a bearish candle close right here, but it closed like you know, somewhere around here with a wick to fill, then maybe I would have entered that. But the fact that we closed all the way down here with no bottom wick, I was waiting for some kind of a pullback to take this down. and we never really got it. Right? Again, this 4-hour candle really doesn't have a top wick. But I've just been waiting for some kind of a pullback to continue back up and then continue down so that we could take that move back down to 161,400, but we just haven't gotten it yet. But now that I'm looking at it and breaking it down for the second time, this is why it's so important to clear your charts and everything. This level was important as well. Yeah, this support that we bounced off really hard, this candle closed below it. You get the retest with a candle with a wick to fill. But again, you do have this area and it perfectly retested that previous wick to the left. So perfectly rejected it, right? So that's kind of what was holding me out of it. But now that I look at it, maybe you could have put your stop loss up here and taken this down to fill the wick. So that's just something that you want to journal if none of you took it. Did anybody in here take this?
I did.
Okay, nice. All right. So yeah, if you guys didn't take this, just go back and journal it and study it. Study this wick, study how like you could have had a different level. I'm certainly going to do that. And you could have taken this down. So now what we're looking at is just a strong move coming all the way down to this level. Can PPI, can we end up getting some kind of a bounce off this level and prices bringing price back down to that level, and then we continue back up and then continue back down? It's hot in here. So we're looking for that retest of 161 right now, as we were saying. Those higher time frames, looking at the daily candles, especially after the previous daily candle, respect to the high of the previous, past low, wick to fill, and now we're filling that wick, we're coming right down into that support. So that's where I fully anticipate price coming down into, and then potentially even 160. Maybe not today, but you know, in the next few days. Anything to add, Charlie?
Nope. I think the main thing for GBP JPY is going to be the GDP data coming out today for the pound in pre-London session. And so we've already have those consecutive, yeah, there you go.
Right here?
On Friday.
Oh, yeah, coming up, you're saying.
Yeah, in pre-London session. So we've already had, if you click on the folder, we've already had 2 consecutive negative GDP for the pound back in May and June. So officially they're already in a recession. And now we're starting to see this, a lot of this data kind of fluctuating like last time the data came out, it was a positive number, but now we're anticipating a negative drop again. So I think this will be very important. If it does come out to any negative number, it doesn't have to be negative 1.2, but if it comes out to any negative number, I do expect the pound to pretty much weaken even further. All right, let's hop over to gold. Awesome.
All right, gold. Looking at the monthly over here, again, we ended up rejecting 1680, as you guys know. We're above 1750 over here, that previous support. And then we have a nice strong monthly candle so far, holding support there and possibly continuing up further. Looking at the weekly now. Weekly, again, we've, ever since tapping into those all-time highs of 2075, we've been printing lower highs and lower lows all the way down to 1680. Now, we've obviously had some fear in the market with not Russia, Ukraine, well, that too, but China, Taiwan is, could be pushing this up. Also, inflation fears as well, other than yesterday's inflation reading was actually pretty good. But I think we need to see more data, and I know the Fed does too, before we before they really could start relaxing on increasing rates and stuff like that. But we've been printing consecutive bullish candles for the last 4 weeks, basically for the last month since tapping into 1680 here. So looking at the daily, daily's just been printing higher lows and higher highs over here, bouncing off key levels. Right now you have that not 1750, but like 1786 previous support resistance, strong demand zone. Get that wick, this wick right here. We ended up closing above over here, but then rejecting it over here, and then we get the higher low formed in this area with a strong bullish candle close. This candle created a bottom wick, closed bullish, looked like we were heading up, but then we ended up rejecting. right? We ended up coming down to grab liquidity over here. And right now, the current daily candle is flipping bullish, kind of holding this area right here as a support, right? So can we continue up and fill that wick? Possibly. We have a previous support right over here that we could come up and again fill that wick. We'll see if we're going to. Just going to move that up a little bit. And we can actually get rid of that because that's just a mess. We're now approaching a resistance right here, right? So can we have a area in this area? Can we have a trade in this area where we continue up and fill that wick about 90 pips? I could see that, right? Nice key area, previous support, respected, right? Bottom wick formed, has to high the previous candle, and we've just been pushing up all morning. 1 hour. Again, we have our support right here. As it's been respecting, pushing up, ended up breaking through this previous resistance. Right, strong close above, and now we're starting to approach this area right here. Previous resistance to the left, right? Now 8:15. Let's see the 30-minute real quick. Should probably put it right there. You get that previous resistance to the left, resistance, support, and now we're starting to approach it. But I think we could definitely, get a move up and fill that wick over here, especially the wick from CPI. Can we continue something up that way if we get some good numbers? Can we end up rejecting this level as well, getting some kind of a pullback? Because you are kind of overextended here. So are they kind of pricing some of this stuff in where we end up rejecting any kind of level? Right here. Like, can we get a push up into any of these further and then continue back down? Sharma, anything to add?
That's about it. Just waiting for price to reject off those areas and then, see some movements in one direction or another. I'm paying a lot more attention to the 30-minute and the hourly timeframes than I am on the lower timeframes for gold today.
So you're really going to wait for the news.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I mean, I could see this. Like, look, last time this candle price was in this area, it rejected multiple times here. We pushed up. The CPI ended up rejecting that level as well, right? Pushing up and then closing below in the 1 hour. Got a bearish candle close in that area. We kind of faked it out right over here as well, right? Following CPI and then pushed down. So this is definitely a critical level. If you didn't catch this move over here, you got to wait. Just trying to see. Really got no retest over here at all. Price just mirrored this move completely. You want to do US 30?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Perfect. Does anyone have any questions so far before we jump into US 30?
I have a question for you, VJ.
Yeah.
For the buys that you took this morning, the sells, the GJ sells that you took, around that level, I had that as like a daily liquidity zone. So I'm just wondering, generally when I would have a zone like that, I think I would naturally want to wait for higher time frame confirmations, like at least the hourly. So I'm just wondering, for you, what gave you the confidence to still execute the sell in that area?
For sure. Do you want to hop back to GJ real quick, Stefanos?
Sure.
All right. Let's start off from the daily down, please.
Oh, sure.
All right. So on this daily time frame, the first thing was obviously the zone that we have marked off. So this entire zone is what I had. And then what I want to see here, the first confirmation was breaking the previous daily low after making that resistance here. And then after that, what I want to see was some form of break and retest. This was about a couple of minutes before there was the New York market open, not the stock exchange, but the New York market open. And then also the market sentiment leading to PPI that's going to be coming out. On top of that, I'm hoping to carry this trade out as like a day trade or even a swing trade with GDP data coming, since we are expecting lower numbers to come out. You want to drop down to the 4 hour now?
Sure.
All right. So after that zone, a little bit of consolidation. So we had this little consolidation, got that entire zone here, started breaking below the support. You got that support here as well, and the 4 hour low. So now what I want to see here was some confirmation that we can at least continue down to 161 around 200 area, which comes from the lower time frame. So the 1 hour time frame, please.
Yep.
All right. So here, further confirmations with all this consolidation forming, and then a massive sell-off that's pretty much happening. And then can we look to the left? All right. So now that 161, 200 area, I have this marked off here as a major level. I don't have this zone, but I have like down here 161, 200. And so further confirmations, again, just need to see a break and retest so we can, as we have that confirmation that we're getting those buyers out, right? Every second of the market, there's buyers and sellers. So after a massive consolidation like this, I do expect volume to kick in, but for us to continue pushing down, I need that break and retest for us to continue pushing. So when we drop down to the 30-minute and we got that break and retest, that's pretty much where I took the entry. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so it's basically just the combination of all those things that gave you the confidence to execute on it.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that helps a lot. Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely had an error there with the with my level. I was paying so much attention to this move right here, consolidation, right? But we had this move and this support right here. The price really bounced off of yesterday after the CPI news. So I was paying so much attention to that and how this candle was rejecting it. I completely missed this one. And that's why it's so important to really draw your levels correctly. It's one thing that we're really doing in here where it's like I'm having everybody break down the charts every single day, volunteer if they want to get better. And when they're doing that, they're getting more and more confident every single day when it comes to the levels that they're breaking down. But the more you do that, the better you're going to get, the more confident you're going to get, and the more you're going to raise your win rate because you're going to be taking the right trade instead of the wrong ones because of wrong levels.
Absolutely.
But this certainly is a level. Like we could very well be having a low created and we could retest this area over here or even pull back more to then continue back down. And now you have a range to take something in, right? So it doesn't mean you missed it. Same thing with CPI yesterday, right? Just because you missed the news move over here doesn't mean you didn't have a 90 pip move right here. All right, nice little break and retest, low created, just what I was talking about right over here, right? You see the wick on the higher time frames, but you could get that pullback here and then continue this price down.
All right. You want to go over US 30 now? Recording. All right.
So about 9 minutes.
Perfect. So I'm going to mark off the 33,000 mark that we've had for a very long time first. That's the very first level that I'm going to mark off right off the bat. There we go. All right. So now that we're breaking above that, this is going to be more like my like a foundation level, I guess you could call it, where if price were to break below this, then we know that we're coming back and looking for sells. But there's also this understanding that we broke below all this consolidation with a lot of bearish pressure. So now we're starting to get a retracement. If we are to break above this level, which is very strong, then we know that we need the strong fundamentals as well to come back. And can this potentially be a liquidity grab while it is a correction of this entire sell-off? After price breaks above this, you got those clean buy opportunities. First of all, you have clean buy opportunities going up into this 34,000 mark, if you want to mark that off, Stefanos. So that 34,000 mark. And then after that, if price breaks above it, you can carry that into potential swing trades as you're coming into some of these minor levels. We can mark those off as we break above that 34,000. We don't have to do that just yet. But right now, this is our range pretty much to trade in between this 33,000 and 34,000. So now we're going to drop down to lower time frames. All right, perfect. So now here, what I'm going to do is mark off this area here as well. So what I want to see is a potential break and retest on lower time frame. So that means the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, depending on what kind of data that we're potentially getting. But we got a nice little support being formed here. Price is still in that bearish structure, right? We're barely trying to test it right now. So what I do want to see is a break and retest, and that would be a confirmation of a potential break of structure coming back into this 34,000 mark. And then after that, if price breaks above it, then we're looking for minor levels to target when it comes to this entire consolidation. So coming up to around 35,000, and then you can look for some of those higher levels. But right now, the crucial thing is to wait for a break and retest right above this zone for potential buy opportunities to take you all the way up to this 34,000 mark. A lot of this optimism came yesterday. As you can see, this was pretty much the candle that was taking us up from like CPI and everything like that coming out at a 0%. That does not mean that there's no more inflation. That just means that we're sitting at a steady level and there has not been an increase in CPI, or like there has not been an increase in inflation compared to last month. It just means that we're sitting at the same level. In order for us to come back and below the previous month's level, we need to come into negative CPI data month to month. That's what we need to see. Let's drop down to the daily, please.
Sure. Did you see that press conference? Is that why you're saying that?
No.
Biden had a press conference yesterday and said we had zero inflation multiple times.
No, just basic common sense. That's not how numbers work.
He thinks other people do.
And then, so now coming on to the daily time frame, we're still maintaining that nice bullish structure, right? And so yesterday we closed with a lot of bullish momentum again. Now we're breaking above this consolidation here. So I do want to see some break and retest forming right above this area. That gives me further confirmations. In order for us to not really care about a break and retest above this level, I would have wanted to see this break and retest right in between the zone. If we got that, then I really wouldn't care about a break and retest here, given that we do have some high impact data coming out today. PPI, you got the GDP coming out, and then tomorrow you have the consumer sentiment coming out, right? And so with that being said, I would have expected more volume. But right now, I do want to see some break and retest on some of the lower timeframes that would give me further confirmations. Now, all this tells me here, as we narrow into some of these timeframes, is that this would have been a perfect no trade zone. And then now above this, we can look for those potential buy opportunities with clean moves to the left. Really nothing stopping you from going up to that 34,000 mark. 4 hour time frame, please. All right, so now on the 4 hour time frame, we're starting to see price breaking above some of these minor levels, which is perfect. But before that, we did start to get some exhaustive moves. Right now, this is a lot of market sentiment leading into the fundamental that we're expecting to come out, the economic data that we're expecting to come out. So in this case, absolutely wait for the economic release and then trade the reaction to the economic release. There's a very high chance that maybe we do end up missing the mark when it comes to the PPI forecast, and we could come right back down. And you are getting signs of that from these candle exhaustions, or we end up hitting the mark or come out at better data points, and then price continues pushing up a little bit more before we start to see a retracement. But there's absolutely going to be a retracement here pretty soon. And if you're looking for any, a day trade or swing trade opportunities, you want to keep that in the back of your mind. But there are potential scalp opportunities that you can take advantage of as long as price is holding on to this area here as a support on the 30-minute time frame or the 15-minute. Can we drop down to the 1 hour, please?
Yeah.
All right, so now on the hourly time frame, if we zoom in, we see that there was, with all that exhaustion that we saw in the 4-hour time frame, now we start to see that there was a little bit of consolidation, and that's what we're trying to break above right now. What concerns me about this hourly candle is that there is no bottom wick here. So there's a very high chance that we could just end up creating a wick on this candle, coming back down and closing bullish, and then the following candle, what we need to see happening is a bottom wick rejection and then a continuation back up. Pretty much how we took those GJ buys yesterday, same exact thing. Was it GJ? No, it was gold buys. Those gold buys yesterday. Or this candle closes like this in the next like minute or so, with like the 30-minute candle, and then the following half of this hourly candle, which is going to be the next 30 minutes, takes us even further up with PPI release. Can we drop down to the 30-minute, please? All right, so here, a lot of that market sentiment, again, leading into that PPI release. You got a nice consolidation being formed here, nice little break and retest, taking it right back up. What I want to see here now, that gives me further confirmations that we are pretty overextended. Now what I want to see is some sort of a pullback and then a continuation back up. It could take two forms. So if we do see pretty good data coming out in the next couple of seconds, either we just create a bottom wick on the next 30-minute candle and then take us right back up. Or we could see, if we just miss the mark, then we could see some bearish moves here. And then as New York Stock Exchange opens up, then we can look for a continuation move up.
Did you see a pullback coming in? If we do hit the mark and this is all kind of priced in?
Yeah, so a pullback and then a continuation right back up.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay. All right, so I'll keep this over here on this screen. And gold over here, as you can see, we're kind of rejecting that level right here. This is gold. Got about a minute left. Don't be afraid to shout out the data if anybody gets it.
We also have the jobless claims coming out today, the continued jobless claims and the initial jobless claims.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting to see.
All right. We got some kind of optimism. Anybody get the numbers yet? Initial push up. Wow, let's go. That's great.
All right, so now this is what means that there's inflation decreasing
Yes.
on the producer side. So that means now we're dropping down from that 1.1%, right? And so if this is more like a forecast inflation, you can think about it, because if producers are paying less on their end for finished products, you know, however much it's costing them to finish their products and services and send it off, so then, you know, consumers can buy it, then that means that there's less costs that are being passed down to the consumers.
Yep. I'd be interested to see what we get over here at 1798 on gold. After the previous rejections here to the left. And then if you look at the 30-minute, multiple rejections in this area. So like we could have just been pushing up. Now we could finally get a pullback, and maybe we could play that pullback.
All right, got my buys in for US 30.
So you're in buys right now?
Yep.
I want to see what we do over here on gold. And if we do reject this level, if we could get some kind of a close in the top wick forms. It's 15 minutes. Yeah, look at that. That's great. Now the now food, and I know energy is decreasing, but food I feel like is still increasing when it comes to inflation. I was reading an article yesterday about it.
Wait for.
What was that?
No, I'm just waiting for a little bit of a pullback on this US 30.
Where's your what's your trade, Charm? You want me to place it on here?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for a little bit of a more pullback as it's doing it right now, and then waiting for price to break its own high on the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, so I'm giving it the first couple of minutes for price to kind of react and then continue pushing.
I was saying, like, where's your stop loss? Like, what's your entry at?
Oh, I haven't entered just yet. I was about to hit buy, but I'm waiting for price to kind of react and then continue pushing its high for a buy opportunity.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious what we get here on gold, because I may play this pullback. Just gonna wait for the candles to close. The 5-minute is closing in 2 minutes. Everyone good? You guys are quiet today. KB, what are you up to? I know you're always planning something.
Look at that volatility in both of them, breaking the highs and the lows.
Nuts. That's why you gotta wait.
Yep.
So this is what I was planning on taking. It just took off without us a little bit, which is fine. It happens. Oh, okay. Smart, man. So you're waiting 30 minutes. KB's waiting for the new 4-hour candle to form. So maybe we have a high created over here. Can we get some kind of a pullback into this area? Support formed and we continue back up? Always be ready for everything on these pairs. Never marrying a bias, because once you do that, it gets dangerous.
100%.
And then again, if you're missing some of these moves or this pullback or anything like that, you don't see either of us, getting FOMO or anything like that. You guys are gonna have plenty of opportunity. And maybe you don't, but most of the time you do when you got New York Stock Exchange open, you got all that volume starting to come back in again. Right? You have really until, I would say, 11 Eastern Standard Time to take a trade. And again, I pointed out one example on GJ yesterday. You could have caught 90 pips waiting for the news to come out and not gambling, right? This happened, came out at 8:30 yesterday. You could have waited till 9:15 to take a trade. It would have been a perfect trade if you just stayed patient, right? Same thing with my trade on gold yesterday too. You just stay patient, wait for the retest, wait for a candle to hold support, and then you take the price right back up. So you don't always have to be part of these moves. It's gambling. It's not, what's it called? Decisive and smart trading. So now on GJ, you're getting some kind of a pullback, right? Price reacted to this area. And you have a low created. So at some point, you've been making these lower highs over here. Can you get any kind of a pullback into this area to continue back down? This area to continue back down? All right, there's multiple things that could happen here for you. And that's what you can wait for.
I'm 100%. I'm still waiting on this entry, waiting for price to finish its fluctuations.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to US 30 for you. The good thing is we have optimism and we got a high created. What I was thinking was I know you were saying like a pullback to continue back up with the optimism, but like, what if those PPI numbers, as expected from CPI yesterday, what if everything was like really priced in? What was yesterday, the 10th? So since like Asian session, we kind of consolidated over here, and then this morning, starting with London, what if they priced everything in, and then you get some kind of a correction of that?
Yeah, there's a possibility, but also here in the first couple of minutes after news comes out, a lot of the adjustments are done based off of actual versus the forecast, right? Or have we met the estimates, or did we miss them?
Mhm.
And then after a couple of minutes, I would say after like the first 15-minute candle or so, you get now like the actual versus the previous, which is really what matters. Forecast is just estimates,
Mhm.
right? And then in this case right now, what we have is in the next 15 minutes, you're going to have the New York Stock Exchange open anyways. So now is it just wait for the new 4-hour candle? And then you have to think about wanting to give room for the next 4-hour candle to make top and bottom wick rejections too, right? So now taking all that into consideration, you have to think about, okay, what is my zone going to be and how am I going to be managing this trade? So that's why we know what this data pretty much means. It's optimism for equities. It's optimism for, US 30, and obviously it's going to help gold drop back down. But now it's a lot of the market reactions to the actual data coming out, and also taking into consideration that you have a new higher time frame candle that's about to start forming. So we need to give the current candle enough room to create, leave some top wicks, and then the new candle make some bottom wicks.
Yep.
Now, with that being said, as I was watching the 5-minute time frame on US 30, as soon as it's broke the highs, I looked for an entry. So the entry is at 33,506.99. 33,506.99.
Right here,
Yep.
stop loss.
That is at. Give me 1 second here. 33,494.6.
Right.
And then TP right now I have it marked off at 33,580. But if I see price continuing to push up, then I'm gonna move it up to 34,000.
Yeah, just secure and leave it on.
Yep. So I'm watching the 5-minute time frame here on US 30.
Okay. I'm curious here. I'm gonna get rid of these on gold over here. This is the 4-hour. I want to see this 4-hour candle close above that area, but I want to see like a bottom wick formed on the next one and breaking its own high, or flipping bullish and continuing up over here. But you got a strong resistance right in this level that we could very well reject and possibly continue down. But if not, we could create a bottom wick and fill this wick up here, and that could be the move that you take advantage of. But you're obviously getting some kind of a pullback here because of the less fear of inflation. That's great, man. Bring these prices down, right? I'm sure you guys are all sick of it. Oh, wait, let me play this clip for you guys. This is the press conference yesterday.
Just want to say a number. 0. Today, we received news that our economy had 0% inflation in the month of July. 0%. Here's what that means. While the price of some things went up last month, the price of other things went down by the same amount. Result, 0 inflation last month. People were still hurting, but 0 inflation last month.
No. No.
What do you mean here's what that means? Why don't you figure out what that means?
This is why it's important to understand economic data.
You guys, I mean, if you guys don't understand fundamentals yet, that's fine. You guys are well on your way to doing it, other than, the rest of the population. You guys understand that I would say 90% of what they've said, them and the Fed in the last year and a half, 2 years, has been pretty much wrong. Or unfortunately, maybe a lie. And I would probably say the latter. Because unfortunately, the Fed created it. They just printed money. When you're printing so much money like this, you create inflation. It's not rocket science. They know it, but they want to delay, telling you guys for as long as possible, and just deal with it down the road. It's like pushing the can down the road.
Well, see, the thing, you have two different examples, right now, where you have Bank of England that came out and said that we are in a recession, it's going to be a long recession, but we're going to continue increasing interest rates. And then we see like how the pound took a hit, right? Because they came out, they openly said it, they were pretty transparent about it, even though like we knew like there's economic data there. And then you have the Fed that says that, we're necessarily not in a recession yet, right? The definition has pretty much changed. And then they're trying to give you like all these other, explanations to kind of back that up. But the truth is, whether you change the definition or not, I mean, you are in a recession. You got the economic data there to support that. So you have two different examples of two different ways that the central banks are handling this. If you just come out and you say that we're gonna, we are in a recession, it's gonna be a long recession, and it's gonna take us some more time because yes, the Fed is increasing its interest rates, it's also moving into contractionary monetary policies and everything. But on the government side, you have just them putting more money into the economy, just making money even cheaper through their policies, through their bills and acts and, all these different things that they're coming out with. And so the monetary policy has to take that into effect, whatever the government is doing, and it has to adjust it. The FOMC has to adjust the monetary policies according to it. So if the government's going to keep, putting money into it, keep injecting money into the economy, then obviously the monetary policies have to be a lot more aggressive.
100%.
All right, so on this US 30, right before this 15-minute closes, on the 5-minute time frame, I see that's kind of struggling to break the highs and the lows. Can you go to the 5-minute time frame for US 30, please?
Time frame for US 30.
All right, so this last 5-minute candle, we saw like how it was kind of struggling to break the highs or the lows. So I closed out about 25% of my trade there. Now what I have done is move just above break even, but what I'm targeting is this little zone. As long as price is above it, I'm good to go for any further buy opportunities or just letting this one run. But as soon as price comes back into this area or tries to break below it, I'm going to close out my entire trade. So my stop loss right now is currently right below these candles right here. I've trailed it up.
That's how you manage trade.
And this is, again, with the understanding that there's going to be a new 4-hour candle forming in a couple of minutes. And so giving the new 4-hour candle any bottom wick rejection rooms that it wants, but also just closing out this trade pretty quickly because I do want to see retracements on some of those higher time frames, the hourly 4-hour time frames, to look for a continued buy opportunity going up to 34,000.
And what you just did right there was an exit plan. So like when you guys enter trades, you guys should know exactly what you're going to do to get out of that trade. It's the same thing as if you're going into a real estate deal. You got to know exactly how you're going to get out of that deal, how you're going to sell it, when you're going to sell it, in order before you even buy the deal. So it's the same exact thing in trading.
100%.
You were saying before with changing definitions and everything. I was watching this comedian, forget his name. He's on Instagram, but what's it called? He was making fun of how like our generation has been changing a lot of definitions, and like all of his examples were like just spot on.
What a time to be alive.
Well, it's always a great time to be alive, but right now it's a little weird, to say the least. So again, my plan right now, I'm waiting for this 4-hour candle to close. I would love for it to close above this level of like 1795 area, right above this level, and we could definitely end up filling that wick if we get like a bottom wick formed on the next and continue up. But you guys got 13 minutes before the 4-hour candle closes. Can you guys wait for that, right? Or you get strange times? Yeah, Not kidding. That's what I'm looking to take price up with. But again, we could very well reject this resistance up here. We have this whole level in this area where price could end up rejecting and continuing down with, again, more data of less inflation. So, and then GJ. Sorry, GJ. Over here is continuing down. I don't think there should be anything stopping it from filling this wick over here. Oh, wait a minute. So we did end up tapping into that 200 level, 161, 200 level, definitely passed through the 400 level we were talking about this morning. And now price is kind of bouncing off. And as you guys know, it's a high demand area where prices bounced off pretty hard with strong bullish candle closes. So we'll see if we could get through that level. Let me just zoom into this. Let's neaten up our zones over here. And again, can we be rejecting this area first before continuing down? I'd rather wait for some kind of a pullback before hopping into this. I think this could have been the move of the morning. And that's one thing that you guys got to understand. This as well, from 5 a.m. this morning, price just dropped on GJ. So like, you know, can we get another move? Absolutely. But at the same time, understanding that maybe you missed the move of the morning if you don't get your exact setup that you're looking for. But does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I think I did.
Sorry, what was that? I think she left. All right. So no questions from you guys? Anybody from YouTube? Sharm?
No questions there. Well, someone wants the link to the video. I think they're talking about the Biden video.
Biden video. Okay. If you guys go under the New York Post, it's one of the last 10 posts, I believe it is, on Instagram. Who was asking for that?
Calming effect
On
YouTube.
Okay, yeah, go to Instagram, search New York Post, and it's one of the last 10 posts. No pun intended. All right. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna hop off. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Be smart, be patient. Don't overtrade or over risk. If you already took 2 trades today, just call it a day. It's done. Journal all the trades you would be taking and learn from them. That's exactly what we were talking about yesterday. Like that's what you want to be able to do, is correct your own mistakes. Obviously, having a mentor is super important, and basically need one if you want to get to where you want to be a lot quicker than you normally would by yourself. Not saying that you need one, but if you want to get to where you want to be a lot quicker, this is a surefire way to do it. Especially the right ones that actually care. But making corrections on your own trades, knowing exactly what you did wrong after that trade, or exactly what you did right, but what you would have done differently, all those things, super important. And that's really the great ones in any kind of sport. That's what they do. So if you guys have any questions, please reach out to us on Instagram. You guys in the groups, obviously reach out to us on DMs in our groups, and we'll be talking.
100%. And then again, last reminder, signups for bootcamp are going to end on this Saturday at 5 p.m. PST. So if you guys already signed up, make sure you guys, finish the entire process and stuff. You guys should have received the email with confirmation. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week for the weekly outlook.
Looking forward to it, guys.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Take it easy, guys.